Certainly a lot to celebrate. Well, in an age when the unceasing invention of digital gadgets is encroaching on the enjoyment of reading paper books, there's a small town in the UK sticking to the old tradition. Internationally renowned as the town of books, Hay-on-Wye in Wales is literally piled with used books from recently published titles to second-hand books dating back 300 years ago.
Named after his former owner Richard Booth, this 200-year-old wooden structure is arguably the world's largest second-hand bookshop. The story began in the early 1960s when Richard Booth graduated from the University of Oxford. He decided to come back to his hometown, determined to find a trade that could save this small rural economy. With capital of £600, he bought this building where he began to sell his small collection of used books.
There are people love the wisdom in 700 years of the book. So people do not wish to leave the traditional wisdom of the past, and everywhere in the world book towns are opening. So I want to join hundreds of book towns together.
Having opened the first bookshop in the town, Richard Booth began distributing used books to his countrymen who were unemployed or laid off and helped them open their own businesses. Pat Thornton has been working here for 40 years and is the most senior staff member at the bookshop.
Yes, but Mary will be back by then.
I started in, the early 70s. I can't remember exactly, about 73 or 4. But I had already done, I used to do a bit of work for him at home. I used to catalogue books, because in those days we didn't have computers and things like that. So we sent out catalogues, lists of books on various subjects, and I used to help doing that. Yeah.
By the 1970s, Hay had become internationally known as the town of books, a reader's mecca that attracts travelers from all over the world.
We drive here, we've been here before, a nice town and very interesting collection of bookshops. Mind you, we are booksellers ourselves, so they are a bit expensive for us. We don't get great margin.
No margin.
No margin. But it's still a very interesting, and because we have a shop, it's always interesting to see how other bookshops are doing now in the current.
Many loyal customers are willing to travel great distances to visit the town just for the pleasure of book reading.
For a month. About 4 a month, yes. Depends what they are. If I was reading, where is it? The Sleepwalkers, Christopher Clark, it's about that thick, very dense. You have to concentrate, and then you have to go back to it, because you have to think about what you've read. So that takes longer than, I don't know, a fiction, because I read detective fiction as well. And that takes less time to read.
Why do you like to come here?
Why? Because there's so many books. What's not to like about books? It's just a window into other people's lives and worlds.
But even though the whole town relies on the book trade for a living, merchants here say the business is far from lucrative.
No, there's no huge amounts of money to really be made out of books unless you actually have been left a First Folio Shakespeare or an Audubon's Bird. I mean, it's the knowledge that's within books. Yes, we make a living, but I think the problem is in this world today that so much is made about money, and I think you only have to look at the bankers and banks around and institutions like that around the world, and the divide. So no, second-hand book selling is not about making large amounts of money. It's just fun.
With a population of less than 2,000, Hay-on-Wye is densely dotted with more than 30 bookstores, focusing on everything from children's books to detective fiction. Spilling over with thousands of titles, book lovers are guaranteed to find what they're looking for at this bibliophile's paradise. Li Xiang, CCTV.